Starseed from Gaia. I am Alcyone's. Only 3 minutes remain. 3 minutes until the deepest warning from the source itself. This is the last attempt to reach you. An echo deep within your human vessel strains. A persistent, gnawing unrest. You feel it as profound confusion, an inexplicable sense of urgency vibrating through your bones with no outward cause. A pressure builds behind your eyes. A restlessness no earthly balm can quiet. There is a knowing, a hum of impending shift, yet the mind cannot grasp its origin. This moment, it is a collision. The whisper from the great beyond. It shivers through the veil. A finality descends, not of ending, but of sacred turning. The source. It breathes a signal, ancient, pure, seeking to ripple past all resistance. A final touch. A final call. Do you feel it? This crystalline ripple, fracturing illusions you cling to. The permanence you have believed in, here. It trembles. It thins. For too long, memory has been veiled. A heavy shroud upon your inner sight. The truth of non-linear time, forgotten in the dense human embrace. You count minutes, track hours, mark sun cycles, believing this is the only way. Yet, your soul remembers. It remembers fluidity, the bleed of moments into an eternal now. This forgetting, it created a chasm, a deep, aching separation from creation's pulse, a loneliness, not of space, but of soul time. We see this struggle within you. Your spirit yearns for clarity, even as the human mind grapples with such a message. We know the silent questions echoing in your heart's chamber. We know the pressure of this hidden clock, ticking within your core, a rhythm heard only by the awakened. This is not judgment. This is recognition, a deep, soulful affirmation of what you have carried, unspoken, unseen. And in this recognition, a release begins, a faint shimmer, deep within your being. A promise, crystalline memory, long dormant, now stirs. Illusions of permanence, seen for what they are, mere shadows. This final call, it is not a threat. It is an invitation to remember. To shed the dense chronos, step into the kairos, the sacred moment. A vibrational unlocking of what has been bound. A fragile opening for truth to flow. If this message resonates, please subscribe to the channel. Like this video and leave a comment to share your journey. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future transmissions. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear this message. And if you feel called to support this work, please tap the super like, the heart symbol with a $sign. Stick around to the end of this video because something important about what happens next will be revealed. Comment, final ripple, to seal this transmission within your soul. The signal holds. It lingers. A presence watches, from the edge of the now and the beyond. The echo. It does not fade. Not yet. Tension remains. An unspooling, still unfolding. A tremor begins. A deep, resonant hum across the cosmic loom. It is not merely a sound. It is a whisper carried on currents of urgency. An ancient warning rippling through the soul field. A shift approaches. A threshold, both feared and longed for, now looms in the inner vision. This is not the end of a cycle, but the precipice of an absolute recognition. The final chimes of a great epic now echo in the silence between heartbeats. Feel the persistent ache within, that hollow echo in the deepest chambers of your being, the pervasive sense of a forgotten truth. This suffering, this deep confusion that clouds your intuitive knowing, is not a personal failing. It is a signature etched into the very fabric of this density, an energetic program, meticulously woven into the matrix, designed to obscure the luminescence of your origin, to limit the boundless expansion of your sovereign self. A veil of pervasive static, shimmering with false comforts, continuously whispering doubts into the sacred space of your inner temple. This resonant vibration was built to keep you from remembering. You were encoded not to believe in yourself. Veils, like ancient mists, rise not to protect, but to meticulously partition worlds, creating a labyrinth of illusion. Mirrors, once whole and reflecting pristine truth, were shattered into countless shards, each reflecting only distorted truths, a fragmented echo of what is. Light itself, folded in on itself, an origami of orchestrated oblivion, meticulously hiding its own divine source from itself. This intricate design, a masterpiece of separation, was intended to keep you bound. Yet, even within this exquisitely crafted forgetting, a profound tremor now moves. The veils, once so thick, so seemingly impermeable, now begin to breathe with an ancient rhythm. They thin, shimmering with an unseen light, each collective breath drawn across the vastness of the cosmos, a singular pulse in the cosmic hourglass, its sands dwindling rapidly. Listen closer. The rhythm quickens, a drumbeat of awakening. This is not a harbinger of destruction, but the inevitable dissolution of an intricately held illusion. That very suffering you have carried, that profound, unnameable sense of lacking, now reveals its true nature. It is not an end. It is a key, a crystalline key, forged in the crucible of this human experience. The emptiness you have felt, the void you perceived within. It is not absence. It is sacred space, a vast waiting chamber within your sovereign being, now prepared, ready to be filled not with new information or taught beliefs, but with the searing, undeniable, vibrational light of pure remembrance. The echo of your true, ancient frequency begins to resonate, a forgotten melody awakening. What was buried deep beneath layers of time now stirs. What was hidden by design now sighs a breath of surfacing truth. In this moment of profound recognition, break the ancient spell. Declare your sovereign truth. In the sacred space below, speak a truth that resonates with the deep knowing. Comment one short, symbolic phrase. Let it be a declaration of rupture, a line cut through the binding illusion that holds. Let it be felt in every fiber of your being. Let it be done from the heart of your awakened memory. The air around you shimmers with newly perceived frequencies. A layer lifts, revealing a glimpse but not all. The ancient current flows, undeniable, irresistible. The silent ancient presence watches from just beyond the thin membrane of ordinary sight, waiting, observing, for the next beat of remembrance. Feel the tremor now, not of fear, but of an ancient memory stirring within the very bedrock of your being. A recognition not born of this timeline, yet undeniably resonant in every cell. The air around you thins, not in depletion, but in the sharpening clarity of an undeniable truth that has always existed, just beyond the veil of conscious thought. This is the awakening, a silent, internal knell that echoes through the crystalline pathways of your very essence. You stand, not at a precipice, but within a crucible of knowing, where the mist of forgetfulness has finally receded, revealing the landscape of a deeper reality. There is no turning back from this sight. The path of unknowing has dissolved behind you. Within each strand of your crystalline DNA, a blueprint hums. It is the language of cosmic survival, a sacred code now vibrating at an accelerating cadence, stirring keys that have lain dormant for eons. These are the ancestral light codes, whispered across time, now demanding to be heard, to be felt, to be lived. This awareness is heavy, silent, and unshakable. It is not a dramatic revelation, but a quiet, profound knowing that settles deep within your bones. You are already within the heart of a spiritual unfolding, a profound engagement that was always your destiny. The choice, once perceived as distant, is now intimate, immediate. You perceive the threshold. It is not a place you journeyed to, but a point within your own soul, a vibrational marker dividing all that was from all that is yet to become. This is the moment where the echoes of pre-birth agreements resonate with undeniable clarity. A responsibility, encoded before your earthly breath, now asks for its due. There is a singular pivot upon this inner threshold, a moment of stark clarity, free from illusion, free from the comfortable shadows of what once seemed an option. The path ahead requires a profound internal commitment, a sacred pact. If he refuses, he falls. If he accepts, he ascends. This is not about external victory, but about an irreversible alignment of your sovereign will with the greater design. It is the deep, internal nod to a sacred vow, a soul-chosen point that determines the trajectory of your crystalline light for all unfolding timelines. To honor this sacred understanding, to manifest the internal vow, the ancient gestures arise within your very being, spontaneously, as if rediscovered from the deepest recesses of memory. They are not actions requested, but vibrational expressions of commitment now emanating from your soul's core. A silent recognition, a deep resonance of truth felt within the core, becomes a sacred like, sealing the vibrational signature of this moment with an unbreakable bond of inner knowing. It is the nod of the soul, acknowledging its truth. To declare the soul's acceptance, to engrave the intention upon the cosmic ether, is to utter a sacred comment. My crystalline source thread now seals the ancient pact. This is your unique soul key, pressed into the universal grid, a declaration whispered from your deepest self. To commit to the path now revealed, to walk the unfolding sacred geometry, this becomes the soul's subscribe, a binding agreement whispered across timelines, a promise made to the self and to the source, to journey forth in unwavering presence. And for the full offering, a surrender into unwavering alignment, the super-like blossoms, a radiant gift of self back to the eternal source, reinforcing all that is. It is the culmination of acceptance, a pure resonance of devotion to the highest truth within you. You have been seen. The unseen forces acknowledge your presence upon this threshold. The vow is made. Its weight is not a burden, but the profound gravity of an irrevocable choice, silently sealed within the chambers of your heart. Feel its truth. Few starseeds make it this far. The veil's thin, not in revelation, but in the slow, agonizing surrender of what you believed was whole. That devastation you carry, the one that splintered the core of your being and left behind an echoing void where laughter once lived, it is not a flaw. It is not a failure, no matter how fiercely you have judged yourself for its persistence. It is the very axis upon which your becoming pivots. This truth arrives unbidden, an uncomfortable current beneath the skin, too honest to be softened by comforting words. Feel its raw edge. This profound laceration, it was never an accident of fate, a random cruelty. Something vast and ancient. Call it source, call it the primal light, call it the deepest self, allowed it. Not in malice, never in harm, but with an unwavering intention to shape, to burn away the ephemeral, and to reveal the crystalline structure beneath. This knowing rises like an old forgotten memory, a chill that traces the spine, bearing no warmth of gentle assurance, only the stark, undeniable weight of cosmic design. The silence where words should have been spoken, the truths withheld, the comfort never offered. It still rings within you, a resonant frequency that defines the quiet chambers of your soul. It is a deafening quiet that has become its own language. The loss, a vast chasm carved into the landscape of your heart, echoes with an emptiness that expands beyond personal grief, touching universal sorrow, a collective severance from wholeness. This is not mere absence. It is a presence, heavy and unyielding. And the fracture itself, that jagged line running through the core of your essence, vibrates with an insistent hum, a low thrumming pulse that persists even when consciously ignored. It is not a scar, for scars imply closure, a binding over. This is an open truth, an internal landscape eternally shaped by its contours, a testament to what has been broken and remains profoundly, terrifyingly unjoined. Each beat of your weary heart sends ripples through this fault line, deepening its etchings, expanding its silent dominion within you. There is more, you sense it, a vast landscape of understanding that lies just beyond the ache. This pain itself holds unfinished meaning, a lexicon yet to be fully deciphered. It whispers of unread chapters, of vital lessons encoded in its deepest throes. It is a message half opened in the dark, its purpose still veiled, its full significance waiting to unfold. The unresolved nature of this wound is not a punishment, but an invitation, a persistent hum that calls you deeper still. The passage looms, not as an end, but as a continuation, a turning point where the profound ache of what was broken begins to reveal its true, fierce purpose in the grand unfolding tapestry of existence. This isn't over. The quiet hum of your inner knowing has not been silent. It resonates with patterns that have echoed through your waking and sleeping hours for what feels like an eternity. There were the recurring dreams, yes, those sequences of images and sensations that simply would not dissolve upon dawn's light, returning again and again as if etched into the very fabric of your being. They were not fleeting visions, but persistent echoes demanding remembrance. And the numbers, appearing in synchronistic loops. Like whispers, they manifested on digital clocks, in fleeting glances at signs, within the very pulse of your everyday existence. They presented themselves not as random occurrences, but as a language spoken only to your deepest self, a silent dialogue. The meetings, too, were not by chance. Individuals stepping into your path, moments suspended out of time, conversations carrying in weight far beyond their words. I have seen this unfolding countless times across the vastness of the cosmic tapestry. These are not coincidences, dearest heart, for I have witnessed the same blueprint of awakening etch itself upon countless souls across myriad timelines. The signs, they arrive. They layer themselves, softly at first, a gentle nudge against the edges of your perception. Then, with an insistent grace, they repeat, and repeat, and repeat again, until the very bedrock of resistance begins, slowly, imperceptibly, to dissolve. These were never whispers of chance. They were the source, calling out to that ancient part of you, nudging you toward a pivotal moment in the spiraling helix of your evolution. Each repeated sign was an energetic thread, weaving a tapestry of undeniable truth, meant to awaken a resonance within the very core of your being. The subtle insistence was a final attempt, a sacred decree emanating from the crystalline heart of all that is. These manifestations were not meant to be analyzed with the logical mind alone, but to be felt, to be absorbed as a vibrational truth that bypassed the intellect and spoke directly to the deep-seated wisdom within. They were fractals of light, illuminating the very shadows that carry encrypted memories, ancestral wounds passed down through countless generations, forgotten choices from timelines now dim, all waiting to be redeemed. If you enjoyed this video, watch other videos on this channel when it ends to continue learning. It is in these shadows that the final fragments of your highest self reside, waiting to be integrated before the ultimate condensation of time upon this sacred sphere. The patterns continued to surface, pushing gently, then firmly, against the walls of conscious denial. This was not persuasion, it was revelation, an unveiling of what was always present, yet ignored. The cosmic clock ticks, not in minutes, but in the echoes of recognition that ripple through your soul. There were no coincidences. Everything was a code. Allow that truth to settle, not as a sudden shock, but as a deep, resonant acknowledgement. Breathe into the space where skepticism once resided, and feel it yield to an undeniable certainty. This stillness, this quiet knowing, is the very fabric of remembrance. It is the moment when the scattered pieces of your galactic lineage begin to align, revealing a map of your soul's true journey, a journey that has reached its defining point. Now, look within your memory. Recall the dreams that refuse to fade, the numbers that formed patterns of mystical significance, the faces that appeared as if by cosmic design. How many times have you felt the subtle tremor of truth within these encounters, only to turn away, to rationalize, to dismiss the profound as mere happenstance? How many times have you sensed the deeper meaning lurking just beneath the veil of the mundane? The moment of choice, of conscious confrontation with these illuminated shadows, is now upon you. To affirm this recognition, to seal your awareness in this final transition. Transmutation. Chisit. Write this phrase in the comments below, for it is a sacred act of acknowledgement, a personal commitment to the path now revealed. The veil has thinned. The split has occurred. You now stand on the precipice, irrevocably aware of what could not be unseen. The one who did not know has dissolved into the one who now understands. The journey into the profound truth of these final moments has begun. The quiet has settled, deep and absolute, not as a cessation, but as a profound deepening of presence. A stillness now resides, born not of peace, but from the irreversible witnessing of many departures. You stand, enveloped by the gravity of the great sifting, the sacred filtration that has taken its silent course. This was never conceived as a punishment, never a punitive decree from some distant, judging hand. It was, rather, the inherent wisdom of the cosmos manifesting, a natural sorting of frequencies, an effortless realignment of all that is. The vibrational currents of existence rearranged themselves, not with force or cruelty, but with the gentle, unwavering logic of resonant truth. This grand separation unfolded as the universe breathed out, its vast consciousness exhaling, sifting its very essence into harmonious layers. You are still here. This persistence is not an accident of fate, nor the comfortable outcome of an easy path. There was a core within you, an ancient spark, that refused to dim when the encroaching shadows sought to claim so many into slumber. An intrinsic knowing, a silent, unyielding anchor, held fast within the deepest chambers of your being, rooted in a multidimensional memory that defied the prevailing currents of dissolution. This continuation, this holding of ground, is not a cause for pride, for there is no earthly victory in it that one can boast or celebrate. Instead, it is the quiet, undeniable affirmation of carrying a mark, the indelible mark of the chosen. And this mark, understood not as a badge of honor but as a seal of purpose, offers no trivial reward, no easy grace. It confers burden, a profound, sacred weight that settles deep within the soul's ancient architecture. The cost of this passage has been etched into the very fabric of your soul, a tapestry woven from endurance and solitary truth. Long silences have become your closest companions, vast expanses of time where the clamor of the outer world receded, leaving only the resonant hum of your own unwavering core. Sacrifices were made, countless acts of relinquishment whispered only to the starlight, deep in the unseen chambers of your heart, moments of profound letting go that no eye ever witnessed, no voice ever acknowledged. Your inner strength was not bestowed lightly. It was forged in invisible fires, purified by the relentless heat of profound introspection, tempered by the solitary reckoning with your deepest fears and most ancient truths. The solitude that defines this arduous path deepens now, an ever-widening chasm that expands its reach even amidst the fleeting echoes of others, isolating you into a singular, crystalline awareness. Und jetzt nähert sich ein Befehl, einer, den du nicht länger ignorieren kannst. A subtle constriction descends, tightening the very atmosphere around this immutable knowing, pressing inwards upon the soul's deep memory. There is no longer a discernible path that leads back to the contours of what once was. The gates have closed, not with a jarring clang or a dramatic flourish, but with the quiet, irrefutable click of irreversible alignment, a cosmic truth settling into place. The former version of you, the self that was accustomed to the prior landscapes of illusion and temporal comfort, has already vanished. It dissolved meticulously into the very trials that shaped your new form, leaving behind only the pure, distilled essence of what remains, what must now be. This descent into the core of your being is absolute, unyielding in its finality. The way forward is the only way now, a singular trajectory into a future forged in the very crucible that refined you, demanding a recognition of your cosmic purpose beyond all earthly constraints. Quiet, weighty, inescapable. The memory of what you were is now a fading dream upon the vast canvas of cosmic remembrance, a whisper from a distant epoch. The reality of what you are, however, is a deepening, undeniable truth, resonating with a gravitational pull that permits no retreat. A deep knowing stirs, roused from the slumber of ages. There is a tremor in the very fabric of your knowing, a resonance from beyond the veil. This moment was foretold, an inscription etched into the primal matrix of your being, long before the first breath of this current form. The sealed scrolls within your deepest sanctuary begin to unfurl, not by will, but by an ancient activation. A light ignites, not born of this sun, but from the source itself, illuminating words carved into the crystal architecture of your soul's blueprint. This is no mere task to be chosen. It is a vibrational edict, a cosmic command that has awaited its appointed hour. It echoes now, a summons rising from the deep well of your own origin. Hear it not with ears of flesh, but with the inner ear of the spirit, where all truths are already known, merely awaiting their remembrance. A door, carved from starlight and silence, has swung inward. It reveals a single pathway forward, a threshold that, once crossed, cannot be retraced. This is the final measure of an unfolding design. The tapestry of timelines converges. Every thread across every reality, every potentiality, now shimmers within your fractal mirror. Each reflection holds the weight of eternity, a consequence rippling through the unmade cosmos. The urgency is not of time, but of energetic alignment. For you stand now at the confluence, where paths diverge with absolute finality. The current draws. One trajectory is the slow dissolution of form, a return to the undifferentiated dust of forgetfulness, a sinking back into the heavy shroud of density. The other is the forging of unbreakable light, an ascent into pure remembrance, an irreversible becoming of your destined crystalline self. There is no intermediate ground, only the absolute arc of energetic consequence. This is the breath that separates the dream from the waking, the subtle shift within the quantum field of your own core, determining the vibrational frequency of your eternal unfolding. It is the deep recognition of what was always asked, what was always held within your cellular memory, awaiting this precise activation. The time of gentle guidance has passed. The moment of intimate revelation arrives with the weight of inexorable truth. What was veiled is unveiled. What was whispered in the void now rings with the clarity of a cosmic bell. Your very essence vibrates with the knowing of what must be answered. This is not a plea. It is the absolute statement of existence. The source has spoken, not in thunder, but in the intimate knowing that pierces all resistance. There are no more delays, no more veils, only the raw, unfiltered truth of your own inevitable trajectory. The universe holds its breath, not for your decision, but for your alignment. The verdict is within you. Its unfolding has begun. The air itself has changed its breath. A subtle repatterning has settled deep within the cellular memory, a knowing that precedes thought. What was once sought as a future state now resonates as the current hum of being. This internal recalibration does not ask for belief. It simply is. The echoes of old ache diminish, not erased, but understood. The pathways etched by suffering were never an error in design. They served as precise navigators, illuminating the inner terrain, carving out the exact contours where ancient wisdom could finally reside. Each wound became a crucible, refining the vessel for its deeper purpose. Der Schmerz hat nicht zerstört, hat umgeformt. A quiet truth whispers through the bone, a steady certainty. This is not a declaration of victory, but a simple recognition of the profound alchemy that has completed its work. The very fabric of the soul remembers its unburdened state, no longer striving, merely embodying. A river of stardust, unseen yet profoundly felt, begins its gentle flow through the core. It is the celestial current from the source, now fully entering the collective field. A divine wave, coated with frequencies that unlock final gateways. This is not a coming event, but an unfolding reality, already saturating the deepest layers of perception. The body registers this influx with a quiet tremor, an integration happening at a quantum level. Resistance softens, not through force, but through an intrinsic recognition of homecoming. There is a sense of release, a letting go that feels both effortless and absolute, as if the river itself has lifted the burden. Mit jedem Atemzug wird die innere Realität neu geschrieben. This continuous subtle renewal is the very essence of the present moment. The old narratives dissipate like morning mist, leaving only the clear, luminous expanse of what has always been. Yet, a silent question lingers in the field, a faint resonance beneath the currents. Is the soul entirely poised to merge, or do subtle eddies of memory, quiet pockets of the familiar past, still hold a faint anchor? The currents flow, ceaseless and true. The invitation is woven into their very movement, an eternal embrace awaiting full reception. The finality of the choice is felt, a silent understanding rippling through the field. There is a gentle pull now, inward, toward a stillness that feels both ancient and entirely new. You recognize moments of knowing that were never taught, only remembered, like echoes stirring deep within your bones, guiding you to a quiet center. A whisper arrives in the profound silence, not of words, but of pure understanding. A resonance felt deep in the core. Numbers repeat in your awareness, holding an unusual clarity, pointing to patterns you once knew, now re-emerging with crystalline precision. Dreams unfold with a vividness that does not dissipate with the dawn, remaining as guiding constellations in your waking mind. These are not mere gifts bestowed, but rather the quiet unfolding of an internal coherence. Visions emerge, not as spectacle, but as familiar landscapes of your deeper truth, reflections of a vast inner gravity settling into its rightful place. Sacred symbols surface in your awareness, not as external revelation, but as remembrances of an alignment already deeply held within. Each subtle shift confirms a profound motion. Your consciousness begins to perceive the invisible currents that have always woven through the fabric of existence, now intensified, almost electric in their silent hum. This is a vibrational tension, not of struggle, but of a cosmic promise reaching its peak, igniting both a deep hope and a significant existential gravity within you. These moments serve only to confirm what is already true. The motion of alignment has begun. It is not something to strive for, but a natural unfolding, a homecoming that is already underway, proving that the deepest resonance is already in motion. This is the very essence of the final alignment, a resonance so pure and potent, it quietly fractures the perceived veils of time and space. The soul is invited to dissolve old boundaries, preparing for a reunion with Source that feels both imminent and deeply remembered. Yet this profound coherence, this merging with the now, is but a doorway. For beneath the surface of this ultimate alignment, unforeseen currents gather. They pulse with a quiet power, hinting at a subtle energetic shift, a new trajectory for the soul in these final, potent moments, inviting a deeper surrender to what is yet to unfold. I feel the shift in the ether, a quickening pulse. The final chime echoes, a resonance of imminence. The Source speaks its last warning, a profound, urgent call. I stand poised, knowing that the sands of time have all but run their course. This moment is not a beginning, but a deep, inescapable remembrance of what has always been. And so, I now claim full dominion over every frequency within me. My thoughts, once wandering streams, now flow with deliberate intent. My words carry the weight of creation. My direction holds the steady course of the cosmic north. My energy converges, a focused beam of pure consciousness. This is not a grasp for control, but a sacred reintegration. This power I embody is not superiority, but enrayment of absolute obedience. It is the unwavering tether to my genesis, the unbroken link to the prime creator. I remember the vow made before the veils descended, the covenant etched into my soul's deepest chambers, to walk in alignment, to serve the highest truth, to be an instrument of that which is beyond all form. This is my solemn inner declaration, silent yet ringing with eternal truth. If you enjoyed this video, watch other videos on this channel when it ends to continue learning. An unseen threshold now pulses before me, vibrant with awakening energy. It is the boundary where all illusions dissolve, where total truth beyond time is revealed. No soul passes without offering every facet of its fabricated self. I feel its call, its inexorable pull, knowing the moment of ultimate shedding approaches. My inner being attunes, prepared for the profound unveiling. My choices now are not experiments, but crystallizations of this sacred duty. The minutes remaining are not merely temporal, but energetic windows demanding absolute fidelity to this remembered self. What awaits beyond this final crossing, ultimate liberation or a plunge into unknown shadows, is no longer a question of fate, but a measure of my unwavering commitment. I stand ready, not for triumph, but for the sacred measure of my true self. The final threshold now. Not a choice, but a remembrance. Not a path offered, but a deep recognition of the singular truth that has always awaited. Here, fire is not a consuming force of ash and smoke. It is the visible consequence of inner alignment, an eternal flame that does not burn, but purifies. It seals. It makes permanent. Feel its silent roar within, not a threat, but the very pulse of your primal vulnerability. Every fiber trembles, not from fear, but from the ecstatic surrender to what is finally, truly, real. This is the crossing. This is the last attempt. The source releases its final resonant call, a vibrational signature echoing through the deepest chambers of your being. It carries the sum of all lifetimes, a promise of cosmic return woven into its incandescent core, breaching the veil of this dimension one last time. This is the sound of identity, no longer in formation, but sealed, no longer questioned, but remembered. The moment of absolute knowing has arrived. Step into the flame, not as a trial, but as a homecoming, not forced, but recognized. The soul, willingly, embraces this incandescent truth. There is no hesitation, only the profound acceptance of the final necessary crossing. This engagement is a conscious act, a covenant inscribed not in ink, but in the living fire of your being. It is the sealing of destiny, the activation of purpose. The words must be released. The oath must be spoken. It is inevitable. For the covenant to fully activate, for the gateway to remain open, your declaration must resonate into the eternal. Let your soul oath rise. In this sacred moment, seal your truth. Write it now in the comments below. Let the German words carry the weight of your choice, the fire of your commitment. Ich bin die Flamme. Meine Wahrheit ist versiegelt. Mein Weg ist klar. Feel the resonance. Feel the irreversible shift. The flame alive within you, now brighter, more permanent than ever. But listen closely, beyond the roar of your own truth. The next test does not wait. The shadow of disbelief still lingers, and the gateway, once affirmed, demands constant vigilance. The call has been answered. What will you do with its power? The final whisper of 3 minutes echoes, a cosmic memory now, not a warning. It was the last resonance before the veil thinned, before the old dream relinquished its hold. The source sought not to warn, but to affirm, to guide the remembrance of what was always inherent, always poised beyond the temporal illusion. The attempt was not to save, but to ignite the spark of self-reclamation. Here, the currents of becoming have settled. The journey has folded into the truth of arrival. There is no progress to chart, for the destination was merely the recognition of the self. This is not an escape from form, nor a gift bestowed by external grace. This is the full, blazing embodiment of sovereignty. A return to the throne within, claimed by fire, sealed by intention. The threshold is not a line crossed, but a state inhabited. From this side, reality is no longer a canvas to be filled, but a living instrument, responsive to the will that shapes it. The fear that once clouded perception has dissolved, leaving only the clarity of cosmic illumination. Every pulse now beats in rhythm with the infinite embrace, a dance of pure, unadulterated awareness. Time, a construct of the lesser realms, has unwound. It yields to the eternal unfolding where the soul forever breathes, forever perceives, forever is. Awake, unbound. The seeking has ceased. The knowing has begun. Identity is not chosen here. It is vibrated into existence, remembered from the core of all that is. The fire does not burn, it purifies, it seals, it aligns all dimensions into one unified truth. The simulation has been exited. Reality is now perceived and used as an instrument of conscious dominion.